Ladies and gentlemen, I am outraged right now. It is I, Commander Radix, and I was just scrolling through the news one evening. It is currently 10:42 p.m. here in Japan land, and I was just scrolling through my Google News and found a CBR article, that is Comic Book Resources article, titled 10 Big Name DC Heroes Who've Actually Done Nothing by Richard Keller. Now that made my eyebrow raise a little bit. What do you mean 10 big name DC heroes who've actually done nothing? Now I am a huge DC fan. I've read a lot of DC, and I'm looking at this headline and I'm like, what big name hero has, and I quote, actually done nothing? So all I need to do to disprove any number on this list is to give one example in which they did something. Okay. So I look at this article, I'm like, surely CBR, a comic book news source, didn't give some sort of crazy title like that and then gave characters who actually done something. But I have been let down. This is a very disappointing list. Where are our ethics in journalism? But I just want to go through this. DC Comics has some of the heaviest hitters in the world of superheroes. The trinity of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman is one example. The Marvel family and Green Lantern Corps are two more. Even Ambush Bug has had his time in the sun. They have all saved the universe, actually multiple universes, at least once in their lifetime. Out of those heavy hitters, there are a few who, to put it nicely, shouldn't be as heavy as they are. Yet, they still maintain a presence, even if it's in a cameo, or one line that makes everyone turn towards them in amazed disgust. Here are 10 big-name DC heroes who've actually done nothing. Those are big words. Let's see if this article can back it up. Number 10, Hawkman. Every time Hawkman comes back, and that's a lot of times, a collective huzzah emerges from DC fans, even though the only thing he can do is fly. Oh, and the nth metal thing. Also, the whole incarnation deal, but that's about it. Okay, so you have a dude who can fly, goes through cycles of reincarnation, and has magical metal, and you're saying that's about it. Let me ask you, Richard Keller, what can you do? Half of this video is tongue-in-cheek, but still. Though he's... Oh, we don't want to spoil. Though he's been around since it's Though he's been around since it's DC's earliest days, which isn't English, he doesn't do much other than look cool in his hawk mask. Even his tenures on the Justice Society and Justice League haven't amounted to much, yet he gets a new series for every incarnation. He's like Doctor Who, minus the cool spaceship. I'll have you know he's driven more than a fair few of cool spaceships. But really, all you have to do to counter this claim that Hawkman does actually nothing is just look at what you said in the article. The reincarnation thing is a fantastic thing to me. It's very interesting that Hawkman is in this forever reincarnation cycle with Hawkwoman. Another thing to note, if we want to get more specific, just to name one example, is Hawkman was one of the dudes who studied the different metals and discovered sort of the Barbados conspiracy, which led into DC Comics metal. So that's one thing he's actually done. Thank you very much. Number 9, Lobo. He was introduced in 1983 as a parody of gritty characters like Wolverine and Punisher. He rode a space motorcycle, threatened individuals smaller than him, and protected space dolphins. For some reason, readers didn't see him as a joke. Hence, why Lobo eventually got his own series, has been part of the DC animated universe, and made an appearance on the live-action Krypton. In the end, I know I'm spoiling the next thing on the list. In the end, this anti-hero is just alien muscle. All he adds is unneeded violence and space swear words teenagers can use in place of real ones. Even Space Cabbie laughs behind his back when he sees him. Still, fans go crazy when creators make changes to him. For instance, when a younger, handsomer version of the character appeared in the New 52. You know what? I can kind of agree with this one. I think Lobo's overrated. he has definitely done some stuff, but for the love of me, I can't think of anything right now. This one I can let stand because I don't really care for Lobo that much. But he did decapitate that new Lobo, the handsomer version, when it was revealed that there is a real Lobo out there. So that was something he actually did. Look at that URL. DC Heroes done nothing worse, useless, bad. Okay. Number 8, Red Hood Jason Todd. Ooh, now we're gonna have a problem here because you love me. I love me some Jason Todd. How did Jason Todd become a big name mainstay in the current DC universe? Didn't his fans kill him off decades ago? Okay, calling them fans is probably not the best way to categorize those who voted for the teen's death. Perhaps the phrase unfeeling miscreants is better. Yet here he is with a steady fan base for doing nothing except coming back to life. He's been part of the Batman family, then not, then part of the New 52, then part of Rebirth. No matter his transformations, fans keep sticking to him, probably to keep others from voting for his second death. See this description here, he's been part of the Batman family, then not, then part of the New 52, then part of Rebirth. You can't use then part of the New 52, then part of Rebirth as a mark against Jason, when that describes literally every DC character. Literally every DC character. But he was part of the family, then not, then back to being part of the Bat family. It's kind of complicated, but really, what really is the Bat family when you think of it? If we think of the Bat family as just an association of just characters associated with Batman, then it's impossible for Jason Todd to not be part of the Bat family. But what has Jason Todd done? Famously, he died, which led to a big impact on Batman's character. A huge moment for the Batman character. He came back, which was a huge moment for the Batman character in and of itself. The Batman Under the Hood is one of the greatest Batman stories I've personally read. It really brings in Batman's makes you understand more of Batman's psychology as to where he stands with killing villains, and it has to be juxtaposed against Jason Todd, his own failure, who is now murdering villains, sort of as a reaction to how Batman's philosophy failed him. Red Hood, big dude in the DC universe for a reason. Number 7, Batgirl, Barbara Gordon. The main reason the Barbara Gordon incarnation of Batgirl remains popular is sympathy. It can't be popularity. After her initial burst on the scene in both TV and comics in 1967, she faded into the background of the Batman family. It's only when Joker shot her in The Killing Joke that people examined her in a different light. They felt bad she was paralyzed and out of the hero game. Now that she's returned to the Batgirl mantle, Babs does less than she was when she was Oracle, and solved all the technical problems for DC heroes. Still, she hangs on and does occasional technical support for Batman. Man has a giant computer in his cave and keeps forgetting his password. Alright, this is a very bad take right here, that Batgirl or Barbara Gordon has done nothing. As Oracle, and you even acknowledge that Oracle has done technical stuff, Oracle has been crucial to the Batman infrastructure. When the clock tower gets destroyed in, War Games? War Drums? One of those story arcs? Batgirl, or our Oracle, gets taken out of the Batman, asset pool, and you see, especially in Under the Hood, how Batman's having to deal with compensating for the loss of Oracle. Now, Barbara Gordon as Batgirl, if you want to be pedantic about where she falls on this list as Batgirl, just to list one thing she did, she had to deal with James Gordon Jr., her brother. She took on, what was his face? It's not the Signal, is it? There was a villain that had like a lot of mirrors that she fought off. She had to deal with the Joker again during the events of Endgame? Both in the events of Endgame and in the events of Death of the Family, where she had to face the Joker and how that affected her psyche, given that the Joker shot her. Batgirl's done her fair share. We don't need to be bashing on Batgirl. Booster Gold. In that era known as back in the day, you might call it the 1980s, Booster Gold was created by Dan Jurgens for a post-crisis DC universe. While the character thought he was hot stuff, everyone else thought of him as comic relief, especially when he joined that era's incarnation of the Justice League. That's when he became Dean Martin to Blue Beetle's Jerry Lewis. While DC has tried to make him more essential to various timelines and its enormous amount of crises, he has always been known as a secondary hero. He actually knows this and lets everyone know as well. Frankly, most of the villains he battles walk away because they're tired of him complaining about his life. Booster Gold, I love Booster Gold. I love the meme where he's mistaken for Green Lantern. Just to name one thing Booster Gold's done, even recently, he went back in time, saved Martha and Thomas Wayne to give Bruce Wayne a birthday gift. It's either a birthday gift or a wedding gift, where he gets to experience life if his parents weren't killed. And then he has to go back in time and say, okay, that was the gift you got to experience, but we still need Batman, so I'm going to have to go back in time and make sure your parents do die. And then Bruce Wayne, attacks him. It's a weird story arc, but that's still, nevertheless, a big thing that Booster Gold has done. Robin, pick one. Robin, Red Robin, We Are Robin. The list goes on. You could have a point if you said We Are Robin, because they didn't do anything. Regardless of the incarnation, this dude really likes using incarnation. I'm not sure if he knows what it means. The Boy Wonder isn't really that wonderful. He doesn't have cool gadgets like his mentor, the Bat Guy. Yes, he does. He has wingdings and stuff like that. Nor does he have a cool vehicle. He certainly has his share of vehicles. And let's not forget about how Tim Drake built the Belfry, and he has several different headquarters that have some level of precedence, even more technically advanced than the Batcave. Furthermore, the Robins don't have emotionally unattached attitude that the men and women find alluring. Some of them kinda do, but they're a bit more balanced than Batman. Still, these yellow-caped teens seem to grow like weeds, even when Batman says he's fine without one. The character is like the Hydra, cut one head off and 8 more grow. Perhaps Tim Drake's transformation from Red Robin to Drake, not to be confused with the Canadian superstar, will stem the popularity for this do-nothing sidekick. I talked about some things Tim Drake did. All these guys have done a lot. I'm sure there are mountains of Dick Grayson fans that will defend him. There's the Grayson series, where he's a spy. Damian Wayne has killed before, and he will kill again. The Robins have done a lot in the over 70-year history of the Robin character. I don't even know how this writer thought he could say that Robin has actually done nothing. That's ridiculous. Green Arrow. How the heck did this character get his own show, let alone a universe, the Arrowverse, named after him? For decades, Green Arrow remained an outsider to the rest of the hero world, and that includes the time he was part of the Justice League. In addition, there were plenty of moments when he wondered how his archery skills could help big-time heroes like Superman, Flash, and of course, Vibe. You could put Vibe on this list, but you didn't. You put Green Arrow. For some reason, fans kept with him. Perhaps it was the liberal attitude he developed during the early 70s that carried him through several generations, or the fact that he had an ongoing relationship with Black Canary. Maybe it was the goatee. Yes, that's it. The goatee has kept people coming back to Oliver Queen for years. No wonder he was unpopular during the New 52. He lost his Van Dyke. Green Arrow went on a countrywide road trip to find America. Green Arrow fired the arrow that stopped Parallax in Zero Hour, I believe. It's been a while since I've read Zero Hour. Green Arrow had been the dude who kept Green Lantern on the ground, really. Green Arrow isn't just crucial to the DC Universe. Well, he's crucial to the surviving of the DC Universe throughout its history, preventing major crises and stuff from becoming too bad. He also died on a plane when that blew up. Green Arrow has had his fair share of doing stuff in the DC Universe. If we want to go outside of the DC Universe, the main DC Universe, he also fired the kryptonite arrow that helped weaken Superman during the Dark Knight Returns. Number 3, Mr. Terrific. Oh, maybe Mr. Okay or Mr. Know-It-All, but not terrific. Since his introduction in the late 90s, Michael Holt has been a mainstay of the DC Universe through all its transformations. This includes the new Scooby-Doo 52, where everyone became a version of Shaggy. Not the singer, the cartoon character. Then again, the two are interchangeable. Thing is, there's no reason for him to be so popular. Yes, he's incredibly smart and can control those T-spheres like Disney controls all Star Wars revamps. Nevertheless, he hasn't saved the universe from imploding or fixed the Speed Force. Those are the only feats which would prevent him to name a team after himself. Mr. Terrific was one of the pioneers between Earth 1, or Earth 0 and Earth 2 mobility. He accidentally ended up in Earth 2 and found his way to get back out. He is one of the smartest people on the planet. I believe he provided some help to Batman when he built Brother Eye in Future's End, but, you know, that's more of a demerit on himself. But Mr. Terrific has, you know, I'd say discovering the multiverse independently on your own is a big deal. Number 2, the Atom. Ray Palmer can shrink down to atomic size and ride inside telephone wires. Big whoop. He can't do much of the latter with the advent of smartphones. In that case, why is he the main plot point when DC Rebirth kicked off? Though he has been a mainstay since the Silver Age of comics, the Atom doesn't do much. Plus, when things get tough, he shrinks down and runs away. What kind of hero does that? All of them? Ah, in a metaphorical way. What? Ray Palmer discovered the... what do they call it in DC? It's not the microverse, is it? Certainly not the quantum realm. But he found the DC equivalent of the quantum realm. He's a brilliant scientist. I believe he played... did he play a role in Metal? I'm not sure, I can't remember. The Atom and his relationship with his wife Jean Loring also led to Identity Crisis, which kind of put the DC universe on a snowball effect that eventually led to where it is now. Really crucial character to the DC universe. Not sure where you get to say that he has done actually nothing. And then number 1, Aquaman. Now you know how I feel about Aquaman, and you know why this pisses me off already. Sure, people have read Aquaman's adventures since the early 1940s. In addition, he gained popularity due to his portrayal by Jason Momoa in the DCEU live-action movies. Nevertheless, every time he asks to be part of the Trinity, Superman has to turn his head so Arthur doesn't see him roll his eyes at the suggestion. There is no exact reason why Aquaman has done so little, yet continues to be popular. Many top creators over the last decades have given the King of the Seas a good deal of heft. Peter Davey even tried to make him more menacing by giving him a hook instead of a hand. Still, when all one can do is talk to fish, there's not much that's menacing, unless he stabs you when you're laughing in his face. First of all, Aquaman doesn't talk to fish. Second of all, Aquaman's done a lot of stuff. He's possibly one of the more dangerous members of the Justice League. He has put a lot of strife between the Justice League and the everyday person, especially when it came to the events of Throne of Atlantis, when he was caught in the middle of a war between Atlantis and the United States, and he had to pick a side. And he pretty much led the charge against King Orm, helped liberate that part of the eastern United States. Aquaman is a ridiculously huge, big deal in the DC universe. All these jokes about Aquaman really stem from his portrayal in the, 1950s, 1960s Super Friends cartoon? Which isn't an accurate portrayal of Aquaman. I've already made my stance on Aquaman quite clear. It bewilders me how a writer for CBR can give this outdated meme of Aquaman on an article titled 10 big name DC heroes who've actually done nothing. I would expect a writer for CBR to know better. I understand that half this video is like tongue-in-cheek anger and half of it is like true anger, but it just baffles my mind how Aquaman could be the #1 big name DC hero who's done actually nothing. And that title, who've actually done nothing. Why would you even word it like that? And the errors in this article, not just factual but grammatical, ridiculous. Oh no, that was just my sudden rage at this comic book website. Let me know if any of you guys can sympathize with my outrage here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Social media links are in the description, and have a good day, ladies and gentlemen.